It is the understanding of the Mark Dolan show that Prince William is now the main barrier to Prince Harry's return to the UK, and he's the barrier to Harry's return as a frontline royal. Whilst it's been well reported that palace officials have told the prodigal prince that he cannot be an in-and-out royal, just like the In-N-Out burger in the United States, we're now hearing that William is enraged and furious at his father's decision to welcome Prince Harry to Clarence House earlier this month. Our understanding is that William sees this as a massive opening of a can of worms and a big headache for his future reign as king. We're also hearing that William is now applying pressure on his old man to crush Harry's dream of 4 or 5 visits a year to the UK, including potentially with Meghan and the kids. I mean, I live in the United Kingdom. Let me tell you, we have got enough problems in this country without old miserable Harry, the world's least happy millionaire, pitching up on our shores every 4 or 5 years. We're trying to tackle illegal immigration in the UK. Well, there's an immigrant we don't want back. Keep him in America if you can. Now, after visiting bereaved families on Tuesday, following a terrible terror attack in this country, William flew to Scotland, where he's now spending an informal few days with his father privately. So that's the breaking news. Charles and William are now alone, and we can only hope and pray that William can talk some sense into his soft, malleable, cowardly father, King Charles. Now, I admire King Charles, and he's the monarch, and I will always admire whoever is the monarch, king or queen. I couldn't care less who it is. I respect the office of king or queen. I respect that. It's exactly like the US president. It is the role, the title of US president that you get behind. Doesn't matter about the individual. So my respect for King Charles and for the office of king is undimmed. But he made a terrible decision letting Harry return to the UK, opening the door to so many problems, as I say, for the future reign of William. William knows this, which is why he's now sat down with his father. They got a few days together. And by the way, isn't that a contrast? Harry gets 54 minutes and William gets 3 days. If that doesn't tell you how far apart the boys are now, William, infinitely more popular in this country. William in a happy marriage. William with normal, well-adjusted kids whose faces we can see and they're healthy, and there's just no question about the lineage of the children, the history of them, who their parents are. Just 3 lovely kids, no mystery, no strange drama. He's smashing it. William is owning it. Catherine is now out of her cancer battle, and he can look forward to the days ahead. But the fly in the ointment is Prince Harry, who wants to make merry hell for his brother William, particularly when William becomes king. And it really threatens to derail the reign of King William. I'm personally, obviously, I want Charles to live for as long as possible. If I can get another 3 decades, fantastic. He's a decent man. I mean, he's got no backbone. He's completely milk-livered and supine. You know, the guy is a welcome mat, isn't he? He is an absolute, I mean, there he is with a target on his back. Harry knows how to manipulate Charles, and I can't understand why, because Charles is an intelligent man, and he's emotionally intelligent as well as intellectually smart. And I can only assume it's because the youngest has a special bond with a parent. And a parent always has a soft spot for the youngest. Now, I am the youngest of 4, and my mother will tell you, I'm just so sweet. I've got a brother and 2 sisters. They're all incredible human beings. But I'm the sweet. I'm so sweet. I'm really sweet. And that is what happens with the youngest, is that the youngest is always cute. And even now I'm now fully in middle age, I'm still younger than the other siblings, which still makes me the little one. It makes me the little cutesy wootsy. I'm so sweet. Look at me. So sweet. And I think Harry's got that with Charles, that he's got a soft spot because Harry's the baby and certainly behaves like a baby. Anyhow, so I'm so excited that William now has a chance to sit down with his father for 3 days with no distractions, no press attention, no photographs. And by the way, when I say that William gets 3 days and Harry gets 54 minutes, it's not 54 minutes. First of all, Harry comes in through the tradesman's entrance. As one of you pointed out in the comments yesterday, Harry did not enter through the main proper part of Clarence House. It's the back door for the riffraff. This was no royal entrance. Harry didn't get 54 minutes with the king. Harry was in the building for 54 minutes, in which he had to be frisked. Not only are they looking for firearms, a flick knife, other potential grenades, a nuclear bomb. I wouldn't trust Harry as far as I could throw him, which is not very far these days because he's such a porker these days. I'm very excited, by the way. I've been, in the past, let me tell you, I've been a chubster, and I'm very excited about a new sponsor that's coming on the show, and they're going to help you and me lose weight. I mean, I know you think but you know, the dad bod, I have to work hard to keep it at bay. Sitting on the dock of the bay, I've been sitting with my evening sun, watching the ships roll in, and I watch them roll away again. Ooh. So, massive. This is huge news, which is William gets access to Charles for 3 days with no distractions. Harry did not get 54 minutes with Charles. Do me a favor, as they say in New York, forget about it. Forget about it. It ain't happening. He probably got, if you want the number of minutes, add it up. Mark Dolan guesstimate. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for love? I'm going to suggest, 54 minutes all in. 27. There you go. I think that's all he got. 27. Just over 20 minutes. And Charles is like, hurry up with that tea. William, Charles, hurry. By the way, I have a compulsion. I mix up William and Harry's names, which is a big problem because sometimes I'll do a video and I'll be mid-sentence and go, I just admire Harry for his leadership, his courage and his good looks and his consistency and what a father. And it's like, no, we're talking about William. Anyhow, but I mean, I do that with my kids. Do you mix up your kids' names? I got two sons. We call them Elton and Bernie to protect their privacy because we care about their privacy, unlike Harry and Meghan, who literally pap their own kids and put their children on the internet, even though they're worried about young people on the internet. Make it make sense. But I call Elton Bernie, I call Bernie Elton. It's very, very confusing. So, but it's William and Harry. And I'm so happy that William has got time with Charles to sit him down and talk some sense into him and give Charles a backbone. William is going to have to be the ballast. And that is what our sources close to the palace are saying, is that William is angry and disappointed that his father has let this meeting happen, opened this can of worms, and opened the door to Harry's long-term return to the UK. Harry has checked out of America. It hasn't worked. The marriage hasn't worked. The career hasn't worked. The charity stuff has not worked. Sentebale, a charity he co-founded in the memory of his mother Diana because he thinks he's Diana 2.0. He's not even Prince Andrew 2.1. And Sentebale is now a smoking ruin of a charity and a public relations dumpster fire, all thanks to Harry. Everything he touches turns around. It hasn't worked in America. The American people don't like him anymore. They're laughing at him on the late night talk shows. Ever wondered how those random companies that you've never heard of seem to know everything about you? Your name, your address, the fact that you need a new toaster? Well, it's not magic. It is data brokers. They buy and sell your personal information and it ends up in places that you would never expect. That's why I'm using Incogni. Now, Incogni goes out to these data brokers on your behalf, tells them to delete your personal information, and then follows up to make sure it's actually gone. It's like having your own personal bouncer for your data, quietly throwing out the bad guys after they've had a few too many Budweisers, which is the king of beers. I tried it myself, and the number of companies holding my details was genuinely shocking. With just a few clicks, Incogni got them wiped. while I took a well-deserved afternoon nap. Here's the deal. If you go to incogni.com/Dolan and use the code Dolan, you'll get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/Dolan, code Dolan for 60% off for the whole year. And then you can buy that toaster in privacy. Harry knows the game's up. And the marriage, it's not a marriage. It is not a marriage. It is a hostage situation. I'm tempted to speak to the White House. The Mark Dolan show is not without influence, and I'm pretty sure that I can get my team in touch. Cameraman John can, I'm sure, reach out to the president. Hello, White House. President Trump here. Yes, hello. I'm Cameraman John. I work with Mark Dolan on the Mark Dolan show. Cameraman John, the best cameraman the world has ever seen, the greatest, the number one cameraman. There's never been a better cameraman. Yes, that's exactly right. That's me. I'm just wondering, do you think, Mr. President, that you could send in a SWAT team to Montecito, California? Montecito, could you send in a SWAT team to get Harry out? Because we don't believe it's a marriage. We believe it's a hostage situation. Cameraman John, that's great. That's great leadership. That's a great idea. I had to deal with China. I had to deal with Vladimir, my friend Vladimir Putin. Right? Vladimir, very disappointed in Vladimir. My friend Vladimir, very disappointed. Ukraine can finish the job now. I'm going to give them the guns. We'll give them the best. We haven't got time for this. I've got so much material to get. Can you not ask me to do these voices? Okay. I've dealt with President Xi, China, North Korea. But my biggest challenge is to deal with Meghan Markle. And I will take her down to Chinatown. And the president is sending in a SWAT team to get him out. Because it's not a marriage. It's a hostage situation. China. There you go. That's what's going to happen. That is what is going to happen, is that Cameraman John will reach out to the president. No, but seriously. I mean, Harry ain't happy. It ain't working. It ain't gonna be easy from now on. So what I think is going to happen is, Harry is plotting the future. Meghan's plan, which I've been predicting for months now, is that they will divorce. She will sell her book, which will be called Meghan, My Story, and it will contain ridiculous tales like, oh, I used to get whipped at 3 a.m. by Prince Charles would come in and whip me and then take me to the yard. And then he would strap me using gaffer tape onto one of the frisky horses and I would run for miles. And then I would come home and he'd put me in a special acid bath called the, didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore, I'm Meghan Sussex acid bath. And then I went back to bed and Harry slept through it all because he's a big stoner. He's a weed head. So she'll do a book. She'll do a Netflix documentary. That's why Netflix were in touch with Meghan. It's got nothing to do. That new, in inverted commas, deal is all about keeping Meghan on board for the payday of the book and the autobiography and the revealing documentary, Meghan, My Story. And she's going to find a billionaire, and it will be someone like Rupert Murdoch, who I know is married, but he's got divorce lawyers. It would be an upgrade for him. I like Meghan Markle. She's an attractive woman. I've made a lot of investments in my life. And I see her as a very good investment. I'm a billionaire. I've got the money. And I've got control of the media, which means I can control her image. I can make her a star. Most famous, beautiful woman in the world, with a bit of help from AI, just to tone down the Richter's grin a little bit. My husband. So, Harry knows the game is up in the United States. He knows this. The marriage is done. The fatherhood is done. Right? When he moves to England, the kids won't come with him. The kids were... The Eton thing is a false lead. Right? Meghan is not having that. Meghan will not have him go to Eton. She wants him to go to a woke Californian school where he will be brainwashed in some crazy California ideas. So, by the way, decaf coffee. Can I tell you, once I was in Spain and I was having trouble getting hold of a coffee in the it was in the afternoon. And I have to have decaf because I have the body of a lab rat. Whatever you put in me, there's an immediate reaction. My body would be excellent for medical science because you put some wheat in me or some sugar in me and things just change. My skin develops a different hue, my tongue falls out. I'm a very, very delicate, I have a very, very delicate flower. And let me tell you that I was in Spain, in Madrid, where it was very hot. I was nearly as hot as Thomas Markle, who lives in a high-rise apartment in the Philippines. And I speculated that he's got no aircon up there. I'm so hot, sweating my knackers off every night, watching reruns of Suits, because that's the only connection I have with my daughter Meghan. Anyhow, I was nearly as hot as Meghan Markle in his Philippines apartment. And I ordered a decaf. The waiter was a bit slow, and I sort of grabbed him. Oh, can I have a decaf? I wasn't rude or anything, but I went up and got the order in. I didn't play by the rules. You just sit there forever waiting for the waiter to come. So I just sort of went over to the counter and said, per favore, y possiblemente cappuccino decaffeinato, which is, can I tell you, perfect Spanish for good evening, sir. I hope that this day treats you in a kindly fashion. Might I, upon you, prevail for your finest decaffeinated beverage in a coffee bean format with frothy milk? So I order very, very clearly, and I said, decaffeinato, really like decaf, right? He brings me a coffee, and it's a very good coffee, and it tastes really good, and it doesn't have the kind of decaf taste. It tastes like a real, because you notice some decaf, a little bit of a decaf taste, which I'm actually looking for the decaf taste because I do not want the caffeine because I have the body of a lab rat and therefore I will react to the caffeine and it will make me, because at the moment, when I do the show, I'm just very calm. Before the show, I do meditation and I'm a very, on air in order to deliver the kind of show. Privately, I'm actually a little bit sort of hyper, but, when I'm talking to you, when we do this show, I bring it right down. So I meditate and I have smelling salts and elixirs, and I use a little aromatherapy. Mrs. Dolan's got a dehumidifier in here, and I'm just very on air. I'm very calm. Close the door and left me blind by the line. And it's just my normal persona. In life, you wouldn't believe how manic I am in real life. So, and I've got to tell you that I drank this coffee. It didn't taste like a decaf. I get into the hotel room with Mrs. Dolan for break the habit of a lifetime, go on holiday with her. And I lay in bed in this hot Madrid room. My eyes just like open like that. It was like a scene from that film Train Spotting where they take a lot of nefarious substances. My eyes are on sticks, like one of those cartoon characters where, the eyeballs sort of pop out like that. And I can only tell you that I was awake for what felt like 57 hours. I mean, the idea that I slept that night, good luck with that. Forget about it. Anyway, that man, he gave me a full strength coffee at like 3, 4 in the afternoon. I'm still jittery from that coffee and it was 20 years ago. But isn't it if you drink decaf like I do, it's such a risk, such an occupational hazard drinking decaf out. In America, they have a great solution, which is in the diners, as you may know. They have 2 jugs, right? The filter coffee, and they have one, which is the decaf, and one, which is normal. The decaf normally with orange detail on the jug. And that's why America is the most successful country in the history of the world, because there's a different jug for the decaf. Problem solved. I was in Starbucks the other day. They cannot get your name right, can they? Would you not agree that the name Mark is a pretty standard name? It would be hard, wouldn't it, to mess up the name Mark? Well, Starbucks have said, hold my beer. They said, what's your name? And I said, it's Mark, like that. If I was in America, I'd say Mark, because in America, they say Mark, and Canada, Mark. In Canada, they say it like that, because in Canada, if you want to do a Canadian voice, just keep most of your mouth closed, and you say Mark. If you only open around 15% of your mouth, you become Canadian. It's an amazing thing, eh? And in America, they open, the whole mouth comes out. The whole mouth is opening. You're welcome. Good morning. Good morning, and how are you, sir? So but I wasn't in in the United States. I was in the United Kingdom, and I said, my name is Mark. And he writes it on the thing, Mac, M-A-K. How hard can it be? My name is Mark. It is surely one of the saints, which is appropriate because I'm so sweet. I'm a very good person. But I love the fact that they got my name wrong and I'm called Mark. It's pretty something, isn't it? So, William and Harry. I'm so happy that William is going to sit down with his father. And what a slap in the face that Harry gets, as I've correctly guessed, 27 minutes, if that. And when they had their tea, Charles is like, Harry, hurry up. Get that tea down, you. I've got to meet some proper people in a minute, like international statesmen and ambassadors and entrepreneurs and leading figures within charities, not like Centibale, which is a smoking ruin of a charity, and a public relations dumpster fire. So, I'm just so happy. I'm sorry. I'm in a very good mood. Because we're together, talking to you, growing this show with a clear goal, which is to be the #1 talk show in the world. And we're getting there. Don't forget to subscribe because that helps us grow. So William flies to Scotland and it's quality time. There will be fishing. There will be shooting. No doubt they play cards, perhaps gin rummy, perhaps Monopoly, maybe an arm wrestle or two, which I've got to say, William is winning now because he's such an Adonis. He's such a unit, that boy. And there is a disgusting agenda against William and Catherine at the moment. It's truly outrageous. And it's this characterization of William and Catherine as somehow at odds with the king and queen. How dare you? Charles isn't stupid. He's got no backbone. He's completely lily-livered, right? He is completely rolled over for Harry. But he's not a stupid man, and he's got common sense to a degree. And he knows that William is his pride and joy. Yes, Charles will always love Harry. And I will always love you. And I will always love you. Of course he'll always love him. Blood is thicker than water. And I'm not asking Charles not to love his son, because life is short. And when Charles becomes gravely ill, which, obviously I hope is a long time from now, but when it happens, Harry will be there and should be there, and he'll be at his side, and he'll be full of regret. And he'll have William staring at him angrily like this. But Charles knows what he's got in William. Right. So Charles loves William, but Charles respects William too. And to be respected by someone is as important as to be loved by them. I always think the love thing is a little overrated, because you get some relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, where they love each other but treat each other very badly. Have you ever seen that? Let me know in the comments. Have you known people in a marriage or a relationship where they love each other but treat each other very badly, or where one treats the other very badly even though they love each other? Love is not, it's a glue. It's not everything. It does hold you together. It binds you. But what you also need is you need the other L word. Do you know what the other L word is? The other L word is like. I think that an awful lot of marriages would be in better shape if they liked each other. There's so many couples love each other, but they don't particularly like each other. They love each other. They're attracted to each other. There's chemistry. But they don't like each other. And that is the fundamental plank of any relationship, is liking. And then the other thing is respect. So you've got love. Obviously, you need that. Love is the magic potion. Don't get me wrong. That is the flower sprinkles. My husband, lavender towels and calligraphy. love, liking that person, and respect. That is the Mark Dolan 3 golden rules of a happy relationship. So, and it's not possible for Charles to like, love, and respect Harry. I think he only loves him. How can he like him after what he's done? Which is why I'm sure that at that Clarence House summit, it was like, get on with it, Harry. I have to meet the Prime Minister of Afghanistan in a minute. Actually, that might be the wrong country. I'm not sure Afghanistan. The cursory look at the history books will tell us that maybe Afghanistan doesn't have a Prime Minister at the moment. But I'm sure the Taliban are working on it. They're doing their best. Election soon. Watch this space. You're welcome. Right, so look, let's get to the bottom of this because it's very, very important. This is the 3rd year that Charles and William have taken a father and son mini break in Balmoral. It's not diarised with senior staff, but set aside to chat as sovereign and heir. And what's going to happen, the agenda this weekend is going to be about William saying to his old man, you need to clarify what this guy's role is, right? My former brother. Don't forget, it's not my quote. I would never use this language. But an insider told the Mail newspaper that, and I quote, William effing hates his brother. So forget about it. Forget about a reunion. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen between the brothers and a reconciliation. Even on Charles's deathbed, which I hope is decades from now, it ain't going to happen. It won't. It's over. Their relationship is over. It's over times 120%. So what William needs to say to his dad is he needs to say, hey, Pops, I'm going to be king one day. And I have the chance of an amazing, amazing legacy. So if William becomes king in his 40s, right, early 50s, we hope it's longer than that, but let's just say, roughly in that ballpark, right? Late 40s, early 50s, 60, it doesn't matter. He's going to be a relatively young man whenever he becomes king. That's a medical certainty. And he's got to say to his dad, Dad, I want to have a great reign. And I want to preside over a renaissance, right? A reboot for the United Kingdom, which is a great country with a great history that's lost its way badly. And I want to work with whoever is the Prime Minister of the day. I'll do it because I can't be president a 3rd time. I dealt with China. Huge. I'll come and become England Prime Minister. There is nothing stopping a former president becoming the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We don't have any rules that they have to be British. Did you know that? So we could have Barack Obama. People of England. And wait a minute, that's Bill Clinton. People of England, I'm Bill Clinton. And I did not have relations with that woman. And the only place I put a cigar was in my mouth. And Hillary will be a great first lady, Prime Minister's wife. And I'm going to fix England's problems. Could be. Prime Minister Clinton. He's still got energy. He's in pretty good shape, old Bill, isn't he? It's all that exercise he takes. All that horizontal work that he does. He a lot of exercise, a lot of sweating in the bed in the morning, let me tell you. He's I'm talking about, he does a lot of lifting and he's very big on positions in the bedroom when he's doing his morning training. Barack Obama. Hello, England. Barack Obama. Prime Minister of England now. With Michelle, who's a bit annoyed because she was really bored being First Lady for 8 years. No freedom and go back to England now, fix her problems, fix the economy. I'll do it. My 3rd term will be in England. My mother was Scottish. I've dealt with China. Right. I wouldn't say no. I would take any. I'd take any of your ex-presidents to run Britain right now. Any. Left and right, I don't care. I do not. I'll take Jimmy Carter. I'll take Ronald Reagan. Nancy. I'll take any of those folks. I'll take Dukakis. He didn't even win, did he? I'll take, what was his first name? Michael Dukakis. I'll take Dukaka. I will. Anything could be better. Britain is, we're not in good shape. But I love it. It's all cyclical. We'll be back. Don't worry about that. It's like New York in the 70s was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? And then bang, completely rebounded. And it happens to countries. It happens to cities. We'll be fine. And I'll tell you why we'll be fine. Because we're going to have, eventually, King William. And what he's got to do in the next 3 days is lock down with this old man and just say, what is this guy's role going to be? Because it's going to dog his time as king if Harry has an overinflated idea of what his role is. You see, William is horrified at this idea of regular royal style visits. Harry is breaking the terms of his contract of having left the UK. He said that he would leave Britain, he'd give up his royal duties, he'd give up his royal titles. Well, the couple have been calling themselves HRH. And the royal duties, well, he goes around the world to Ukraine and Colombia and Mexico and everywhere else, pretending to be a frontline serving royal, right? He does the optics of it. It's all the same. It's a pretend. When the couple went to, where did they go? They were in Africa a few years ago, Nigeria, wasn't it? And it was a pretend. It was a fake royal trip. So they said that they would give up the royal duties, but they're carrying on. They said that they wanted privacy. And since then, they've had a book, a documentary series, podcasts, and a TV interview with Oprah Winfrey. And they said they want a normal life, except they live in California, not far from Hollywood, in the glare of publicity. And so what they've done, Harry and Meghan, is that they have breached the terms of their contract. They said they were divorcing Britain, but it was a divorce in name only. It's like you have a divorce, but your partner's still there. Comes in on a Saturday and you find them sleeping in the spare room. Sorry, I hate to stop you here, Stephen, but this is not what a divorce looks like. You can't be snoring in the spare room. We've divorced, so out on your ear. That's the equivalent of what Harry's done, what the H-bomb has done. My husband. And William is understandably worried that Harry will use these visits as a public relations exercise. And he may use these visits to try and get money from the king because he's broke. And when the king passes, which I hope is many years from now, he'll no doubt be asking his brother for money, which will be hilarious. Clearly, William's worried that Harry may use these visits to gather material for another book and another documentary. Harry may be using these visits, or may wish to use them, to embed himself back in Britain as a redeemed member of the royal family in advance of the coronation of King William. So it's a shocking thing, and it's absolutely critical that the amazing, admirable Prince William gets his message across, and if he has to, talk tough with his dad and take him down to Chinatown. Folks, it's been so brilliant to chat. Cannot wait to see you for the next video, which I anticipate will be Sunday. But please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because there's always an occasional surprise video here and there. And loving our conversations. Stay awesome. Don't change. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Close the door.